the urge to sing big band. Do you want to talk like this? Alright. Greetings. Greetings, Earthlings. I am Rebecca, and this is Rapacious Reads. Take me to your leader. Okay, this is the Philosophy Book Tag, and I was tagged by its creator, Miriam, from Between Lines in Life, and you should definitely give up your life goals and follow her channel, and only watch her videos. Nothing else. I'm in a bit of a mood, so if you don't want books punctuated by song or random accents, then I would suggest clicking off this video right ho. Oh good, I'm so glad none of my followers are from the UK. Whew. Ahem. Thales, or Thales, yes. Thales is the first known philosopher. Which text introduced you to philosophy? So, I'm not hip with the philosophe, as they say. Nobody says that. What am I doing? Okay, but when I was a wee child, a girl, you might say, my dearest friend Catherine was reading a book. It was called Sophie's World. It was a Norwegian book, and I was mightily jealous because she was struggling along and she couldn't seem to read fast enough, and she couldn't seem to take in all its bounty at once. So obviously, being the competitive girl I was, I wanted to read it and read it faster and understand it better than she. And so I did. I stole it from her and read it. Number 2, Karl Marx is a political philosopher, turning the world upside down with the Communist Manifesto. Which historical or political event do you think needs more attention in fiction? Now, if you've seen my previous video, entitled No Disclaimer Book Tag, you would know that I love the novel Birds Without Wings. So, a topic I would love to see covered more would be the Armenian genocide. It's a great topic. Everyone loves genocides. Number 3, my buddy, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, of the Enlightenment period, introduced critical thinking. Which book forced me to think more critically? Now, I'm a scientist, as they say. So, it wasn't a literature book which forced me to think more critically. It was a scientific exercise using a Drosophila melanogaster study where I critiqued the author and I said, this is where your methods are weak, this is where you should go from here, and it was just realizing that the field of academia is built on independent thought, and my thoughts are as valid as another researcher's, that introduced me to critical thinking. However, in literature, back in high school, I read Joseph Campbell's The Power of Myth, which introduced me to the universality between all novels, and it started me on the path of analyzing novels, which was super fun. And my sweet buddy, Margaret Atwood, in her 1970s book, Survival, introduced me to thinking about nationalist literature. So she talks about the Canadian literature landscape and how we don't have an identity as Canadians, and how American and British literature differ on their treatment of setting and the wild. So that was fun. For Voltaire. What did he say? What's the quote? I have to remember it. I disagree heartily with what you have said, but I fully support your right to say it. A popular author everyone loves, and I don't. Okay. I'm afraid of Stephen King, 'cause horror is scary. So I'm gonna say Stephen King, but I haven't read anything of his. So if it has to be somebody I've read, I would say P.D. James, who butchered Pride and Prejudice, and I hate her. I mean, she's probably pretty great, but I probably shouldn't be reading Pride and Prejudice retellings. Number 5, Hannah Arendt. Controversial book that leaves readers feeling uncomfortable, but tells an important story. Well, if you've been on my channel, I have a book discussion of Skin Like Mine by Gary Gottfriedson, which talks about Indigenous issues in Canada through poetry. So it's uncomfortable to read, but because it's poetry, I think it's a little bit more approachable. Oh, and Night by Elie Wiesel, which talks about the Holocaust. That's depressing. There is no hope in that book. Give up God. Number 6, Nietzsche. A book that I go returning to when I seek beautiful prose. I don't reread things. I'm a terrible person. However, I will go back to poetry because, I don't know, I feel like poetry is only super hip and like you can be a snob about it if you haven't memorized. So that's kind of my goal with poetry. Where is it? So back in my undergrad days, it was William Blake. I had a little bit of a thing for Tagger Tagger Burning Bright. And I think the other thing that I keep going back to is sonnets from the Portuguese, love sonnets from Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And I even read one of them at my best friend's wedding. So that's a love story that just keeps on giving, you know? Number 7, Sartre. What is good literature? Shit! This is the one I didn't answer. Literature is something which explains the human condition. It gives us the why to life. Science gives us the how, and history gives us the what, but literature gives us the why. That was pretty good for off the top of my head. Number 8, Albert Camus. A book that I pushed through to understand. Back as a small 11-year-old child, I had the goal to read the entire Bible, and the histories in the Old Testament are not pleasant reading, and I pushed, and I pushed, and I pushed, and I got up to, like, Song of Solomon. So, I feel like I gave it a good try. It's just the prophets that I'm a little weak on. There's more. Hold. Please hold. Oh yes. This guy, Milton, this took me a while to read. It was difficult, and I feel like it's something that needs a reread to fully appreciate. But as I said, I'll do that. And, oh, my sweet baby. This is something I read at the beginning of last year. It is also epic poetry, and probably it's because of all the historical references to political figures that makes this harder. So I feel like reading a little bit of a political treatise on the, like, 14th century Italian politics, or Florentine politics, would be helpful before reading this. Could do with a reread, but I won't. Shh! Don't tell them. Number 9, 3 philosophers that I would like to sit and have a chat with. Well, my name's Rebecca, and I would love to have a chat with Immanuel Kant because he's a distant ancestor, and I just would love Vanity, sweet Vanity, to tell me if we share any features. Do you see it? Do you see it? Are we, huh? Could be my daddy? Huh? No? Okay. Also Aristotle, because he's the father of biology. Yay! And finally Socrates, because I'd like to see the man behind Plato's writing. I guess the last part is who do I tag? And I haven't looked into that at all. I'm such a lazy booktuber. Well, I could do what I did last time and just tag the same people. Victoria reads things, Enchanted Library, but they're probably not going to watch this video. So Laura Pora, make sure you do this, and Lukash has already done it, so fuck me.